Hi, this is Straight Pastor. Welcome to my spoiler review of Avengers Age of Ultron. In this video, I'm going to talk about spoilers. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. It's going to be full of spoilers, so you've been forewarned. In case you don't want to watch that, you can watch my spoiler-free, well, spoiler with minor details, my previous video, which will have minimum spoilers, and I don't think I don't have that much in it anyway. Anyway, Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, like I said in my other review, this movie was a decent watch, and like I said, it kept my interest, but I don't think it was as fun as the first film. Okay, this film is a darker film than the first film, which is, I know I'm saying a lot. I mean, the first film, again, the world's getting ready to take over, Loki getting ready to take over the world, enslave the world, and this one, we have Ultron, who basically wants to wipe out humanity, wipe out the Avengers, and wipe out humanity to maintain peace. Like I said, and this movie begins, if you watch Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the last episode before this movie came out, kind of went into, Coulson basically said, call the Avengers, we need to retrieve Loki's scepter, because Baron Stryker has the scepter, okay? And basically this movie begins with the Avengers going in to Stryker's compound and trying to, getting Loki's scepter, okay? And that's where you first meet the twins, Pietro and Wanda, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver respectively, and they have a grudge against Tony Stark, because when Tony Stark created weapons, they were little kids. Tony Stark, remember, he used to do weapons for the military. I think he said a couple of bombs fell in their house, and they were basically terrorizing that, and they basically have a grudge against Tony Stark, and they want anything to help destroy him. They're down for that. Okay, and basically they volunteer for Stryker to experiment on them, and of course give Quicksilver speed and Wanda the telepathy and telekinesis. I think that's the two powers she has. And basically what happens is when the Avengers break in to the compound, which is in a great opening scene. I love that opening scene where you see them in the woods and assaulting Stryker's compound and destroying. That's what you see in the trailer. You see Captain America throwing the bike and everything else, and Thor laying the hammer down and Hulk destroying the bunkers and all that stuff. And Tony sees the scepter, and Scarlet Witch works her mojo on him, and she's kind of makes people see kind of the dark side of each other. I think that's what she does. That's what her power is. She kind of manipulates people to see the darkness. And of course, Tony sees all the Avengers laid out and dead, and so he decides he's gonna, before Thor takes the scepter back to Asgard, he's gonna experiment with it, and he enlists Bruce Banner to help him, create this peacekeeping program that jumpstart this peacekeeping program, which is ultimately going to be Ultron. Okay, and eventually Ultron comes to life and basically wipes Jarvis out and gets corrupted. And that's where you see the scene that you see in that first trailer, I think, that came out, where you see Ultron coming out from the shadows when the Avengers are having a party and attacking with the robots and stuff. And then Ultron spirits himself away. And of course, then the Avengers, they have their problems, of course, because Captain America, just like you see in the Winter Soldier, he has, he's pissed off about people trying to. I think he even says, I think there's a line where he says in the movie, every time people try to prevent war, they wind up making it worse. So of course that's where his conflict with Tony Stark, and I guess you'll see more of that in Civil War, Captain America 3 Civil War, because he's going to be in that one too. And anyway, so basically Ultron contacts the twins and basically tells the twins, listen, we're going to wipe the Avengers out so you can get your revenge. But Ultron, of course, has the ultimate goal of he's going to wipe out humanity as well, okay? And the Avengers basically have to stop him. And Ultron, of course, has to get vibranium. He wants to create a better version of himself. So that's where you get the guy, what's his name? Andy Serkis' character, who plays the Claw, got the Claw basically, and you literally see him become the Claw because Ultron basically rips his arm out. So I guess in a future movie you'll see him with the actual Claw, like like his comic book counterpart. And I was kind of disappointed they didn't. I mean, as far only thing they had that was connected to Wakanda uh, was of course Brian Strucker, and that's where they get the vibranium. They didn't. I thought maybe they would have maybe his father, maybe Black Panther's father or something, but they didn't show that. Maybe that, like I said, they saved that for the third movie. Uh, anyway, for Infinity War, maybe they're saving him for that. Anyway, and then also the Avengers get a little downtime after Ultron kicks their ass. I think when they have like a showdown like you see in the last trailer, they have a showdown. It's Captain America. Well, the Avengers they go to, they trace because Ultron. I think he basically wipes out all existence of Baron Stryker from the internet, but the Avengers have the files and they track down that the Claw was like an associate of Baron Stryker. So they actually go to the warehouse where Ultron is basically getting ready to steal all the vibranium, or actually buy it, or because you see him putting money into the Claw's account, making him a billionaire. That's before he rips his arm off. And the Avengers, they have the confrontation there, and then that's when you see Wanda actually use her hex power on some of the Avengers. You have a great scene where Cap, she uses it on Cap, and he flashes back to World War II, and he sees Peggy, and then you see her use it on Thor, and I think he sees Hemda, Idris Elba, and I think that's leaning into Ragnarok. He sees because Hemda's grabbing him, basically saying that you just destroy the world or something. He basically screaming at you see nothing but destruction and stuff. And I think that's going to lead into Ragnarok, will be in the third Thor movie. And then also she does her hex thing on Wanda, and of course not Wanda, on Natasha, and she flashes back to when she was trained by the Russians, to be a spy. So I thought those scenes were great, and then also you see her use her hex, of course, on the Hulk, like everybody speculated before, when the Hulk has to, Iron Man has to put on the Hulk poster armor to fight him, of course, because he's getting hexed. And I thought that fight was pretty cool. The fight with Iron Man and the Hulk, I thought was pretty cool. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, like as far as like I said, the villain Ultron, I don't think he was as menacing as I expected him to be. I mean, he was pretty menacing, but not as menacing as I thought he would be. I know he had a lot of one-liners and stuff, but I don't think he was as menacing as I expected him to be. And I don't know, maybe that's just the writing for him. And maybe the next villain will be, well, you actually, be afraid for the Avengers. And, there was only one point that I thought for a minute that they might kill Thor. I thought for a minute when Ultron was basically slapping him around, I thought for a minute that he might kill Thor. But then, like I said, so I had no real, fear that any of the Avengers are going to get killed, even though, like I said, this is a spoiler review. Pietro does get killed, okay? And basically, like I said, there's a moment where Wanda actually reads Ultron's mind, and she knows that he's going to wipe out humanity, and so they turn on him. The twins turn on him and join the Avengers. And then there's a great scene, I think, where with Captain America and the Black Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow and Hawkeye, they're tracing down Ultron because he's creating the Vision, and they have him in the back of a truck, and that's when you see that clip that they released before where they're chasing him down the highway, and basically they stop Ultron before he can fully program it, and they take it back to the base, and then of course Pietro and Wanda point out to Captain America, when he tells him that Stark has the Vision, and he says, well, do you really think that Tony Stark's just going to leave it alone like that and not, try to do something with that? And of course, then they had that confrontation where, because actually there's a point in the movie where Thor goes off on his own because he's having these visions that he had, when Wanda was in his mind. So he goes off on his own, but he comes back, and then there's this big, basically a fight where Hawkeye, Captain America, Thor, and even Iron Man, they're battling each other because, of course, they don't want him to, wake up, because he wants to wake up the Vision, and Captain America said every time you try to do this, things go south. So he doesn't really want to do it. So they actually have a nice little, like I think, little 5-minute scuffle between all of them, and then Thor comes back in and basically fully charges the Vision, who pops up like you've seen, I think, in the clip they released earlier. And then of course that's Paul Bettany, who was Jarvis, who's not Jarvis anymore. He's I guess they said Thor had a vision, so that's how he takes that name, Vision. Okay, and then they said, well, okay, we have to stop Ultron, so they all team up together and they go to stop Ultron. And Ultron has this plan where he actually literally rips part of that country, the foreign country, and lifts it up. And the Avengers are basically, and I think he has the vibranium underneath it, and it's floating in the sky, and Ultron is, battling them, and it just, like I said, Ultron was just, I don't know, I didn't get the proper menace that I expected from Ultron. That's what I suspect. That's, he had this plan, and I mean, the robots, he created, I guess the robots and the robots were so easy to destroy. I mean, it was just, it was kind of ridiculous that the robots was just so easy, to destroy. But I guess it makes sense because I guess, they couldn't destroy, it wouldn't be a movie if they couldn't destroy the robots. But they kind of destroy the movies, the robots kind of easily. That's like how Iron Man's armor used to always get ripped off, just get ripped apart. And his little robot sentries and stuff. And there was one part I did like that Ultron, would jump from one body to another. Okay, and I did like Paul Bettany's vision, because he had the gem in his forehead and stuff, and he was pretty cool. I liked his character, and I liked they also had the cameos they had, and they had War Machine in there, of course, and they had Falcon was in there as well. And I liked the scene at the end. Where you see, oh yeah, I forgot to say, let me back up a bit. There was a scene where early in the movie, after the first mission, you see Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch, no, I keep saying that, Black Widow calms Bruce Banner down, okay, and you can see throughout the movie they're close. Of course, Bruce Banner is worried because of who he is, to get close to her, but she actually, you can tell she really wants to be with him, and I thought they had a nice chemistry. I know a lot of people said they didn't have it. I thought they had decent chemistry together, those two, and I liked their moments together. And they threw Hawkeye a bone by giving him a family, with a couple of kids and stuff, and a pregnant girlfriend. So they threw him a little bone. And then Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, he wasn't in the movie. He did basically like a cameo in this one. He wasn't in this movie as much as he was in the first movie, but he was good in his in his parts that he was in this movie. And like I said, the climax, like I said, with him lifting the city, and like I said, I just didn't think I was gonna say Loki. I don't think Ultron was as menacing as he could have been. I guess that's my main beef with it. I still found the movie entertaining, and definitely gonna go see it again. Okay, but I don't think it's as fun as the first movie. The first movie was just a fun movie, and maybe the joy of having all the characters together. The first time seeing it, this made the movie outstanding. This movie, like I said, is darker. It's darker, just a darker movie in terms of all the, seeing, especially when Wanda's playing with all their minds, and they're seeing all the worst things of each other and stuff. But I can see they're setting up a lot of stuff that's going to happen in the next, the Captain America Civil War, which Iron Man's going to be in, and the different philosophies and stuff, because they even have an argument when they're chopping wood about the different philosophies Captain America and Iron Man are. Okay, so there's going to be conflict. And again, I liked at the end where there was a moment where actually the Hulk, he actually takes off, which was kind of sad. He takes off. So when the Black Widow tries to bring him in, he's in the Quinjet, but he kind of turns it off, and they can't track it since it's cloaked. They can't track it, so they don't know where he is. So of course she's sad about that, and then Thor, of course, he has to go back to Asgard because of his visions, and the visions that she wanted to make him see. So he has to go back to Asgard, which is probably going to lead into Thor Ragnarok in the third Thor movie. And of course, Iron Man goes off on his own. So all that's left is, like I said, Black Widow and Captain America. And they said, okay, and you see the scene where, I don't know if it's in one of those clips, but he goes, okay, Avengers. And then you see Falcon, War Machine, Scarlet Witch, and the Vision. So I guess it's going to be those 6 maybe in the next movie if they don't kill off Captain America in Captain America 3. So I guess I'm assuming that I think Thor, the Hulk, and Iron Man may or may not be in Infinity Wars, or maybe their roles, or maybe they'll come in later in the movie. I think they just wanted to show you that there's going to be a new 6-core team because Hawkeye went back to his family. Like I said, Pietro dies, the Quicksilver died, which surprised. I didn't think he was going to die. I thought, like I said, for a minute that Thor was going to bite it and then come back in his movie Ragnarok. But Pietro died, and he died heroically and stuff. And Hawkeye named his kid after him, gave him his middle name, which I thought was nice. But it seems like, but then Hawkeye is going to be in the third Captain America movie in Civil War. So I guess that'll make that 7. So it'll be Hawkeye, Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Vision, War Machine, and the Falcon. So yeah, I guess it'll be those 7 in the third. Well, I think the third and fourth movie is supposed to be the Infinity Wars, right? Oh yeah, and during credit scene is Thanos saying, picking up the Infinity Gauntlet, saying, "I guess I have to do this myself." You hear James Brolin's voice, and I guess he's saying, "I have to do this myself." So he picks up the. So I'm assuming that's why that's going to be a 2-parter. He's going to go actually looking himself to get those Infinity Gems himself. So which actually I'm looking forward to this and to see what the Russo brothers are going to do with the Avengers. I thought Josh did a decent job. Like I said, this movie was more darker than the other movies. I mean, than the first movie specifically. But I don't think it was. I think it was just a notch, notch below. I don't think it was as good. That's why I gave it an 8.3. Is the first movie. The first movie I think was more fun, but this movie was more darker. And again, like you said, they're moving. I guess the stakes are going to be higher, especially in Civil War, with them fighting each other, and then of course Infinity Gauntlet, where it's going to go intergalactic. And I guess that's when they probably will bring Thor and the Hulk back, because the Avengers are going to need them if they're going to battle Thanos, because and then plus Thanos is probably going to go after the Vision because he has one of the Infinity Gems literally in his forehead. So I assume that's what's going to happen in 3 and 4, Avengers 3 and 4. Anyway, that's my spoiler review, I guess, where I just talked about a lot of different things. And it's almost 20 minutes of talking, but I wanted to get everything out. Okay, and anyway, just to wrap up, like I said, Ultron was okay. He wasn't as menacing as I thought he was going to be. I thought he would be a lot more menacing than he was. I mean, he did have a lot of one-liners, and I thought one funny line that he said, which made me crack up. I think when Captain America said something to him, and he said, "If I could, I know I'm a robot, but if I could throw up in my mouth, I would." Like something really just twisted. Like that, if I could throw up in my mouth, which was funny. But I thought all the actors did a great job as usual. They just own the roles, and I just love Chris Evans as Captain America. I just think he just owns that role. Okay, and of course Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. He just they just inhabit those roles so well. Okay, and I thought they did a great job, and I did like the little romance angle with Black Widow and the Hulk, and Bruce Banner. I thought that was nice, and I was kind of sad that he went off on his own. Okay, instead of them getting together. I thought it was so sad because they wanted to, but I guess that's for the next movie. Anyway, let me know what you think of my spoiler review. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.